Okay, so there's been a lot of focus on Nokia's falling market share, but the thing is, Nokia was never a huge player in North America. So how's the switch to Windows Phone changed Nokia's focus?
In North America?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I mean, we're making a huge comeback here in North America, both the US and Canada. And so, you know, for the first time in a long time, we launched some products in North America first. As an example, the Lumia 900 with LTE. It launched first in the US with AT&T, and then we brought it to Rogers here in Canada. And so we've seen very positive momentum, great consumer buzz and excitement with the Lumia family, whether it's the 710 and 900 in the US or 710, 800, and 900 in Canada. And you know, the thing that we're so focused on is making sure people love the experience that we're focused on, or that the device delivers, and that they're willing to recommend that to family and friends. And what we're seeing is really positive momentum around that. You know, you can look at online, like if you go to the Telesite and look at 800, I mean, the comments out there and the rating, super encouraging. Amazon, if you go there to look at it. So we feel like we're hitting the spot in terms of creating a compelling value proposition and experience for consumers. Now we need to build on that momentum and excitement.
Okay, so the Galaxy S2 and iPhone 4S, they're both higher end phones which sell quite well. So do you think that Microsoft's strict Windows Phone hardware specifications prevent Nokia from competing in the higher end of the market where device specs are an important factor?
Well, I think the first thing that we're focused on is, while specs are important, we're geared around experiences. And so when we talk to consumers, when we talk to operators, et cetera, it's about how do we create compelling experiences. And so if you sort of take the 900 as an example, we think we differentiate on the design. It's different than what you see in the Android phones or the iPhone. It has a different design, and that's appealing to consumers. The screen, it's big, it's bright, it's bold, whether it's indoor or outdoor, so we win points on that. The imaging is quite good. The experiences with like Drive and Maps and those type things, those are the unique experiences. At the same time, we obviously have to have specs that are competitive. What I've said time and time again is, with the launches, we've seen positive momentum and great buzz, but it is a start. We're back in North America, we're in Canada, we're in US, having the momentum and excitement, but we need to build on that. So you'll see the portfolio continue to evolve across, I'll call it, a wider range of price points and experiences, and potentially across a wider array of operators moving forward.
Okay, so speaking of strict hardware specs, this is the HTC Titan 2, and HTC ignored Microsoft specs, and they've customized the camera software. So are you aware, were you familiar with that?
Well, we've done obviously some analysis across a number of phones and camera technologies and imaging technologies.
So can we expect something similar with Nokia, like ignoring or going beyond the Microsoft specifications?
Well, you know,
like do you have a Lumia with the Pure View sensor in your pocket right now?
Well, so no, not in my pocket.
Oh,
so
it's in your bag.
not here.
Okay.
So basically, but what I did talk about this morning was, and I showed the Pure View technology. That's the 41 megapixel sensor, and it's not just the megapixel which gets all the noise. It's really the algorithms that create these super pixels and oversamples the data and creates amazing images with 5 and 8 megapixel images. What we said is that's 5 years of R&D. We first commercialized it on Symbian to get customer feedback, etc. You can expect we'll be bringing Pure View technologies to the Windows Phone platform in future Lumia devices. We're absolutely committed to doing that and making sure we can create a compelling experience. And at the same time, working with Microsoft to make sure their platform supports the broad set of things we want to do with the Pure View imaging.
Okay, so to me, Windows Phone's a nice platform, but it's not enough just to be nice to be competitive. You just take Palm, for example. It had a great OS, but you know, look where it got them. So it just doesn't feel like Windows Phone has any momentum right now. I don't really see anyone using a Windows Phone when I go downtown. I always check out what people are using. They're all using iPhones, Blackberries, Android. So I don't really hear not many of my friends ask me or talk about it either, like on a personal level, not on my site. So, so are you happy with how Microsoft is promoting the Windows Phone platform?
Well, I think it's a start, and both with Nokia just launching the 710, 800, and 900 in Canada. I mean, we're really only 30, 45, 60 days into this. So as I said, it's a great start. We're seeing great momentum, and we need to build on that, both in terms of the portfolio, the set of experiences, et cetera. And so getting the word out there is both Microsoft's responsibility and Nokia's. So again, I say a great start, lots of momentum, but need to continue that moving forward. I do think, and I talked about this morning, is this has gone from a battle of devices to a war of ecosystems. And one of the things I talked about this morning is when we signed the deal with Microsoft, or announced the deal February 11th last year, there was less than 6,000 apps in the marketplace. Today there's over 90,000. And that's a lot of hard work by Nokia and Microsoft there to continue to evolve the ecosystem. And so we do see momentum both from the consumer side, the developer side. Obviously we're bringing some iconic devices out. But as I said before, it's a start, and we'll continue to build that momentum.
Are you happy with the release schedule? It seems like I think they've had two or three major updates since it was released, and since Nokia came aboard, it was Mango. It feel like they are updating their devices, and all devices are getting updated at roughly the same time, which is a good thing. But would you like to see a more updates more frequently?
Well, what I would say is we feel really good with the partnership and the level of dialogue and integration we have with Microsoft on the R&D side. Because again, the current release with Mango, that was essentially done when Nokia signed the agreement there. We feel like we're able to influence the platform a lot more moving forward on subsequent releases. So we feel really tightly integrated from an engineering perspective and feel good that the path they're on and we're on. But it's not just about the platform itself. There's other ways. As an example, today we announced in the US with AT&T, there's an update to the Lumia 900 that fixes some issues that consumers had. At the same time, though, we've talked about, we will be announcing some, I'll call them surprises or customer delighters for the Lumia platform all up in the short term. We won't talk about those today, but those are things Nokia is doing specifically to bring new capabilities and experiences to current users. You'll also see applications continue to evolve where we bring more and more to this platform and then do some unique things for the Lumia devices. So when we talk about keeping a platform fresh, it's not just the platform and the things Microsoft's doing, it's the enhancers and delighters that Nokia can bring, and then it's the app ecosystem and doing some really unique things. Just as a data point, when we go talk to the retail sales professionals at the operators, one of the things they talk about in the Nokia collection, which is where we have unique apps for the Lumia platform, they're calling those the premium apps, and they're like, those things are being really well received by consumers, and the more you can do in that space, they basically said you can turn this app game from a pure numbers game into something that says, hey, Lumia has the absolute best apps across any ecosystem. So a lot of work being done there, and you'll see some announcements in the near term that I think give users enhanced capabilities on the device.
So you're going to try, one of the strategies is to have a sort of best of breed app for each kind of service out there. Is that what you're saying?
What was that?
Like, let's say there's a Foursquare app. So not necessarily Foursquare, but does that mean Nokia is going to try to go out and make the best Foursquare app, for example?
So there's really two things that we're doing. We're working with Microsoft to basically increase the total number of apps in the Windows Phone marketplace. That's the ecosystem play. That's where the majority effort's going on. Now, when we do bring an app to the Windows platform, we want it to be the best against any other ecosystem. So taking advantage of the live tiles and hubs, the interaction that you can do, the panorama view. We really want to make it a unique app on the Windows Phone platform. Then Nokia, what they're doing specifically is taking key brands, key applications, and doing some unique things exclusive to Nokia phones. So today, if you go in the Nokia collection, obviously we have the Nokia assets, Drive, Maps, Transit, City Lens, which is a new augmented reality app that we just released in beta. But then there's things like ESPN, CNN, Muppets, PGA Tour that are in there we've announced that will be unique to that platform. And we'll continue to differentiate on some of those unique apps with marquee brands.
Okay. So before Windows Phone, Nokia has had many web services under the OV brand. So what's happening with them? I know you've closed some of them, like was it OV Share and a couple of others. So what's the plan going forward with them?
Well, I think in terms, without getting into specific services, I think the core of our business is really driving Lumia smartphones, right? It's the devices themselves. Then looking at what are the core services and apps that will surround the phone with to differentiate it. So Drive, Maps, those type things. And then things like music service. It's a service that they obviously provide on the phones in Europe today. We'll most likely evaluate doing something with the music service further on out in North America. But it'll be a...
Are you talking about comes with music?
Well, it's mixed radio is what the service is in Europe, and we'll obviously evaluate whether that makes sense here. But I will tell you it'll be a set of a small number of services that Nokia will do. And the equation or the determining factor for us is, does that give us differentiation on the device? If the answer is yes, we'll absolutely do that. But again, I think what you'll see is far more effort on a fewer set of services that are super compelling to the user.
So what will you do with the other services?
Well, again, I'm probably not the best guy. I've been here 15 months, and so without getting into the specific services, I'm not sure. Now, remember, again, we also have hundreds of millions of feature phone users, mobile phone users, Symbian users that we'll continue to support and committed to. So those set of services have to go beyond just the Lumia product line.
So what about Navteq?
Well, when I talk about Navteq, I mean now Navteq is our location and commerce service division within Nokia. And so the things I talk about, mapping, the navigation with Drive, City Lens, which is augmented reality, the transit app, all that's coming from what you just called Navteq, what we call our location commerce services. That is a key pillar in terms of how we'll differentiate. When you look at Nokia devices, I think there's a set of things you can count on, I'll call them four, that will differentiate these devices. Design will obviously continue to create compelling designs that appeal to consumers. Two is the imaging technology. So when you talk about PureView, you can expect to see PureView technologies integrated deeply into the Lumia set of products. Number three is location and commerce services, mapping, Drive, etc. And then number four, some of these unique applications we're doing in the Nokia collection. Those four things will be the staple for us in terms of how we differentiate against the competitors.
So what do you think about Android, the success of Android? You could go back in time and, well, I guess it's a hard question for you to answer, but like, would you have preferred to have gone the Android route rather than Windows Phone?
I'm glad you asked that, because in my keynote this morning, I asked the question, what's the install? My comment was talking about our strategy on Windows and that we're all in with Microsoft and Windows, and why I'm convicted it's absolutely the right strategy. And what I talked about in that is if you look at the install base globally of iOS, iPhones and iPad, and you could put in Mac OS, you're somewhere between 250 million, 300 million users. On Android, phones, tablets, etc., you're about 140, 150 million users there. Windows, all up. Now Windows PC, mobile, etc., 1.25 billion users. And the reason I talk about that is when you talk about these ecosystems, it's broader than just the mobile phone, and being able to appeal to developers across PC, tablet, phone, and TV. And in Microsoft's case, not only TV, but the Xbox, which has about 40 million users that aren't in the number I gave you. The sheer scale and scope that Microsoft can bring, and you'll see that in the Windows 8 timeframe when they get that released, is something that the other guys can't match. So I absolutely am convicted Windows is the right strategy. I think people will start to see that. And so it's no longer about strategy. We have the right strategy. We're all in with Microsoft. It's about execution. And I talked about that this morning. Execution's easy to say. It's hard to do. It's all the little details, from how do you market the product to how do you work at retail, at scale, to get people excited, trained, knowledgeable at the devices, and offering a compelling experience to consumers. So absolutely believe that we have the right strategy. Now it's about execution.
I find with Windows, though, is that Windows is a very different usage. It's a different paradigm, right? You sit down with your mouse and your keyboard and your monitor, and use it like that. Whereas with the phone, you hold it and you know you use your fingers. And I find that the problem with Microsoft's problem is that they haven't been able to translate the user experience. Like they tried it with Pocket PC, where they tried to make it similar to the desktop, but that's just not really what people wanted. And so now what they're trying to do is they're trying to turn the desktop make it more similar to the phone, and I'm not sure that it'll succeed. So well, I think that's one big problem.
Well, I think what they've done is they're taking the Metro UI from the phone. They've already put that onto Xbox, so common look and feel. Now they're doing it with Windows. I just downloaded the consumer preview this past weekend on both my laptop and my desktop, and I'll tell you, I think they're onto something incredibly innovative. And don't take my word for it. When you look at the consumer response, the analysts, et cetera, who have used it, it's compelling. And by the way, it's the only one that's unified across PC, tablet, et cetera. But what they've done is from the ground up re-engineered Windows for touch as the first-class citizen. And so I think they have a really compelling story there when you take that across tablet, PC, phone, and obviously Xbox on gaming, and then creating those integrated set of experiences. But again, the feedback so far, and again, it's consumer release preview, has been super, super positive.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with Windows Phone sales here in North America?
That's a great question. I haven't thought about it in terms of rating. And what I'd almost say is when I think about that, it's not so much results, because again, I won't talk about results. The momentum, excitement that we have, I'd say it's a 10. Now, let me just sort of offset that by how we've executed in North America. I'd give us a 7 or 8. I think we've done some really good things. Obviously, we've had lots of challenges to get through. I think we've done a really good job, but we also have room to improve. And so when I think about sheer execution, what are the things we did well? What can we do better? We still have room to get better, and we're working hard on that.
What could you have done better?
Well, I think there's a number of things. One is, I mean, obviously when we first launched, we had a quality issue with the data connectivity issue. I prefer those things don't happen in the future. I will tell you, I'm incredibly proud of how our company responded. Number 1, we were transparent. Number 2, we were accountable. Number 3, we fixed the problem sooner than we said. And 4th, which I think is the best thing we did, is we said, let's not just fix the problem, let's go above and beyond to really pleasantly surprise the consumers on our response, where we did this $100 credit back. And again, I think that was a bold move by the company at a very challenging time, and so I'm incredibly proud of how the company has responded. But again, obviously I'd prefer we don't have those things at all. At retail execution, I think we've done a great job seeding, training, those type things, but there's a lot of areas we can improve on, the little minute details, probably not worth getting into today, but that retail execution is the thing that keeps me up at night. That's where we have to really nail it moving forward.
So are there any plans for more S60 devices in North America, like the PureView?
Yeah, right now, our strategy in North America is Lumia devices, Windows phones, smartphones in North America with operators. So that's our focus today. So we don't have plans elsewhere. It's our focus. Obviously, I don't want to say never in that case, but again, our sole focus right now is making the Lumia product successful and working with operators and consumers alike.
Okay, so is there life after Windows Phone if it doesn't work out?
You know, I've been asked this before, and they say, what's your plan B? And I said, refer to plan A. I mean, we're all in on this one. Again, I absolutely believe it's the right strategy. It's about execution. And so again, you could take my 15 months that I've been in this role, and where I've seen us do great things and where I've seen areas for improvement, it's not about the strategy, it's about execution. So we're really focused on, at first priority is making sure we're creating a compelling experience for consumers where they love that device, they're willing to recommend it to family and friends. We believe if we can nail that, all the business metrics will take care of themselves. So again, it's plan A, we're 100% committed to it, and there is no plan B.
So one thing that's always being said, well, it's kind of an excuse, but it's true, like you just started, right? Like the 800 came out, was it maybe 6 months ago, which isn't that isn't that long ago, and then 900 came out, what, 3 or 4 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, we basically in April, so
you're sort of just getting started, but it's a really fast, it's a very, very competitive space. So at what point is Nokia going to say, okay, we're not just starting up now, we're mature now?
we've made it.
I wouldn't say you've made it, but at what point can you, like, you won't reveal sales numbers, fair enough, but at what point will you say, if sales, I'm assuming you're not outselling the iPhone 4S, you don't have to comment on or the Galaxy S2, but at what point will Nokia say, okay, we've been going at this for a while now, and we need to rethink this?
Well, the simple answer would be until we get to 100% market share. I don't think I can say that, but I know what you're saying. And when I say we're just starting, I mean, look, we've just re-entered Canada and the US to be a significant presence. And so what I would say is, even though we're just starting, we're really pleased with the momentum, the buzz, excitement. We need to build on that. So I'm not sure I have a time frame to say, hey, here's when we'll make it, but I feel good about where we're at. It's back in the game, it is just starting, and now we need to build on that. But it's not like we're starting and feel bad about what's happening. We feel good with the momentum and buzz that we're seeing. We need to build on that, expand the portfolio, and continue work and win over customers.
Okay, so you already mentioned Windows 8 earlier, but are you going to release any Windows 8 devices?
No comment.
No comment.
So basically, I'll comment on what our CEO has said, which is basically we're not making any product announcements. Obviously, in the tablet space, it's one we're eyeing, but other than that, no news.
Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you. Appreciate it.